So the election of 1828 focused less on policy and more on personality. Adams was clearly the smarter individual, but that did not matter. Besides, Jackson was deliberately vague about what he believed in. The public, though, was enamored with Jackson, and most believed his talk of a corrupt bargain from 4 years prior. Plus, many people were upset about the Tariff of Abominations. So, this election was one of the ugliest elections ever and featured mobilization of people through political trickery and bribery. Martin Van Buren was a New York politician that became Jackson's political organizer, in effect creating the Democratic Party we know today by promoting conventions, party platforms, and so forth, in order to make decisions easier for voters. Van Buren encouraged rallies or parties for Jackson where participants would sing songs and praise Old Hickory. Van Buren would then use donations to purchase alcohol and food for the supporters and direct them to polling places to vote. Jackson supporters called Adams an elitist, a monarchist, a bookish academic. They accused Adams of stealing public funds, using them to purchase marble chess sets, snooker tables, and so forth. They accused him of never having a real job, having always been a government official, pilfering the taxpayers' money, being corrupted by foreigners in European courts, and even of offering an American virgin girl to serve the lust of the Tsar when he was a diplomat in Russia. But the worst attacks came from Adams' supporters directed at Jackson. Adams' supporters made Jackson's background an issue. The fact that he was a duelist, that he had little political experience, that he was not formally educated. They charged him with having an unchecked temper. Charges of murder were thrown at Jackson, and worse, the attacks got very personal. Some called Jackson a bastard child because of the death of his father. The lowest blows, though, were directed at Rachel. Discovering the divorce, Jackson's opponents published scurrilous information about it. The marriage in 1791 between Rachel Donaldson and Andrew Jackson was of dubious legality. Rachel had not yet finalized her divorce from Captain Robards, but she hadn't lived with him for some time when she and Jackson got married. It's unclear whether or not she and Jackson were ever married or whether they just lived together or eloped from 1791 to 1794. In 1794, they got married legally. Still, the Adams supporters called her a whore and an adulteress because she had lived with Jackson while still married to Captain Robards. Rachel's health was already fragile, and she became humiliated and depressed by these attacks. Not long after the election, in December of 1828, she died. Jackson believed these attacks caused his wife's death and said, "May God Almighty forgive her murderers as I know she forgave them. I never can." Jackson had won the election of 1828 fairly easily. Universal white male suffrage expanded the voter universe to include a lot more people who identified with Jackson. So he entered the presidency with popular support and also with a sense of resentment and vengefulness towards his political opponents. For Jackson, political disagreement was a personal offense, and he often talked about his political battles like duels.